This is ABC7 News at 5:30. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Welcome back. Tonight we begin our week-long series Behind the Badge to showcase some of the more unique elements of law enforcement on the Suncoast.
We're starting in our beautiful waters where the Sarasota Police Department has a marine patrol. ABC7's Jess Dowdrick takes us along for a ride. Jess.
Every day, just before the sun rises, Sarasota Marine Patrol is gearing up and hitting the water, along with hundreds of boaters.
We're a coastal community. Everything that happens on land also happens on the water.
Mike Skinner is one of 2 Sarasota police officers who patrols the city waters. From North Siesta Bridge to Sarasota Bay, everything in the Big Pass to Shell Beach, along with parts of the New Pass.
On a daily basis, I'll get a call for service. That can include a rescue call. I can get called for a distressed mammal, whether it be manatee, sea turtle. I get called about wake violations, boating violations. People do contact me about fishing violations.
And when Skinner is out patrolling the waters, he says it's not about writing tickets. He's mainly out there to promote boating safety.
People are out here for the adventure, the excitement, the fishing, the relaxation. The last thing they want is an emergency, and they want to make sure, if they do have one, that they have the proper safety equipment on board. I just want to say thank you for allowing your kids to wear their life vests.
The violation that Officer Skinner sees most frequently is wake violations. Boaters going too fast in a minimum or no wake zone.
You're responsible for your wake. So if it causes damage or personal injury, that vessel is responsible. I'm Officer Skinner with the Sarasota Police Department. The reason for the stop is we're in a slow speed minimum wake zone. The normal violation would be $93 for violating the wake zone. Obviously, you're probably not from the area, not familiar with the waterways. I recommend that take a look around you, look at the other activity of the boats. If they're at a slow speed, abide by that as well. Do you have questions, concerns, or anything?
No, appreciate the warning, and we'll
all right,
keep her safe the rest of the way.
All right, guys, have a great weekend.
All right,
enjoy your time down here. We have New Pass bait shops. We have a lot of loading and unloading. So you can imagine if a parent's handing up their child to another family member, the last thing they want to do is have a wake hit their boat and they're striking the dock. And just behind us we have active fueling. So if someone's actively putting fuel in the boat and all of a sudden that boat starts rocking back and forth, now we're looking at a possible fuel spill.
Marine Patrol won't pull anyone over without a reason. But the main reasons boaters get pulled over are for things like driving under the influence, boating in the wrong channel, and not having registration stickers.
Do you have your registration sticker? Yeah, I see it there. You're good. I see it there. Have a good day, guys.
And once they've stopped a boat, they do routine checks to make sure they have all of the necessary safety gear on board.
Four life jackets? Yeah. Good, we're in the green, we're good. Okay, I see the sound making device there on the keychain, that's good.
Yep. You need to be self-contained. If you have a problem on the water, you need to be able to fix it. That's why every boat has safety requirement.
Being out on the water, crashes between 2 vessels is almost 100% avoidable. We have to look back at the collision regulations that the Coast Guard holds, the standards that they hold. Carelessness is one of the number one reason why we have a lot of these accidents.
As far as drinking and boating is concerned,
in the state of Florida, you can be in possession of an open container and operate a vessel as long as you're not over .08.
Officer Skinner says he doesn't see many drunk boaters on the water, but if he does,
it's a $500 penalty. You will be arrested and you will go to jail. The difference is it will not affect your driver's license unless you're given another or have a previous DUI.
There's one major difference between the beat officers on the street and a Marine Patrol officer.
Is that they're typically out here by themselves. As an officer safety issue, when I'm on land and I call for backup, I'm going to have it probably within seconds, less than minutes. If you're out on the water, you can't always count on that.
So officer safety is a huge concern out here because I am by myself sometimes, and there's a lot of moving parts when you stop a vessel. You got to worry about other boaters around you. You got to worry about obviously the person you're dealing with, the passengers on board, and then you have to deal with the currents.
But they have plenty of other types of backup, working with almost a dozen other agencies like Moat Marine, the Sheriff's Department, and of course, the Coast Guard. From behind the badge on a boat, Jess Dowdrick, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
All right, Jess, thank you. Marine Patrol is reminding boaters to always have life jackets, a fire extinguisher, and some sort of noise-making device on board in case of an emergency. Coming up tomorrow, we'll take you behind the badge at Palmetto Elementary School, the home of the only elementary school resource officer in Manatee County.
Venice police are investigating an accident that left a pedestrian in critical condition. Police say a man was hit by a car while walking on US 41 bypass near the East Venice Avenue intersection around 9 o'clock last night. Police say the victim had severe injuries to his head and lower body and was flown to Sarasota Memorial Hospital for treatment. The victim's name has not been released. The accident is currently under investigation.
Well, you may not realize it, but much of the illegal drugs that wind up on the Suncoast streets are shipped in through the U.S. mail from China. Suncoast Congressman Vern Buchanan is co-sponsoring a bill called the STOP Act, which stands for Synthetics Trafficking Overdose Prevention. Some local addiction recovery experts are glad efforts are underway to stop the flow of these illegal shipments.
I love what Vern's doing. Vern's taking a very proactive position up in Washington because of where he's representing. You know, we have one of the highest death rates in the United States right here.
The House bill was introduced in February and is pending now in both the Ways and Means Committee and the Oversight and Government Reform Committee. We'll take a closer look at the opioids by mail issue tonight on ABC7 News at 7.
Congressman Buchanan is also co-sponsoring a bill that aims to protect Florida's coastlines from oil spills. Buchanan and Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz are backing the Marine Oil Spill Prevention Act. It would extend a current ban on oil drilling until 2027. The current moratorium, which bans drilling within 125 miles off most of the Gulf, is set to expire in 2022. The legislation also makes the oil company responsible for a spill to pay for its cleanup efforts and provides grant funding to states.
All right, let's get a check on our weather. A lot of activity on the radar screen for Bob today with something we haven't seen in a while, right, Bob?
Yeah, in May, too, you don't normally see cold fronts. We're going to see a couple. One moving through late tonight, tomorrow morning, then another one coming later this week. Right now, out ahead of the actual front, which is still well back to the west and north of us, we have some shower and thunderstorm activity as a result of the southwesterly wind. Some outflow from these storms that were around earlier, creating some other showers that we see right there near Arcadia. Those are all, though, pushing off to the east. Those are not going to make their way back toward the immediate coastline. Now, we are looking at some rain that was around earlier, but then that has since faded away, so not much rain this evening expected near the first 10 miles or so of the coast. The heaviest by far is well inland. You can see some of that heavy at times near Sebring with a few lightning strikes there. Currently, we do have some clouds around, temperature at 82, and the dew point still pretty high. We have this front. We'll talk more about it, and then the next one coming up on Friday in just a few minutes. Back to you.
All right, Bob, thank you. Last week, Congress passed a short-term bill to keep the government open until Friday. But now, Hill negotiators have come up with a longer-term solution. Lawmakers agreeing on a $1 trillion spending bill to keep the government running through September. The deal has wins for both sides. Republicans getting a $15 billion increase in defense spending, including border security, and Democrats scoring increases in funding for the National Institutes of Health and year-round Pell Grants for college students. But not in the funding plan, money for President Trump's proposed border wall between the United States and Mexico.
This is a down payment on border security. It's a down payment on his ability to rebuild the military, and repealing and replacing Obamacare will address a lot of the other health care issues.
That budget deal also includes $68 million to reimburse local law enforcement in New York and here in Florida for protecting the president and his family. The House and Senate return tomorrow night to finalize and vote on the plan.
Legislators in Florida have just a few more days to resolve many major issues. The legislature has until this Friday to work out deals on everything from medical marijuana and a new sweeping gambling bill to measures dealing with insurance, public school testing, and property taxes. Over the weekend, lawmakers tried to work out the final details on a new $83 billion state budget. While they have agreed on money for public schools and state workers and pay raises, other parts of the budget are unresolved. Negotiators have to finish work on a new budget by tomorrow. Florida law requires a 72-hour cooling off period before legislators can vote on a final budget.
Well, it's official. The snowbirds are gone and the sea turtles are now back.
Today is the first day of sea turtle nesting season, and experts are looking for an upward trend this year. ABC7's Dwayne Lindo is joining us live from Mote Marine Lab with more. Dwayne.
Well, good afternoon, guys. That upward trend officials were referring to has already started. At this point, 3 documented nests are now in Venice, and some may come up further north on Longboat Key very soon.
For more than a decade, Cindy Seaman and her group of volunteers looking for large turtle tracks around sunrise every morning.
We're looking for the tracks going up, coming back, and seeing if they have actually nested. We follow them, do all the data write-up, report that back to Moat.
Doing their due diligence further into the season.
And we'll actually be looking for the small tracks where the nests have hatched out, and still looking for the big tracks. Further into the season, we're just looking for the little tracks.
All while educating residents and visitors here on Longboat Key.
Many people really enjoy seeing the nests, checking to see if they've hatched. We do nest openings in the evening, and we share some of that with them.
Sea turtle nesting season runs through the end of October, and judging by what Moat Marine has seen in previous years, they're looking for this year to be even busier.
Last year was a record year for us by like almost 2 times as many nests as we've ever had before. And even, I think it was 4 years before that was another record by about the same amount. So we're just seeing numbers going up and up and up.
More than 4,500 nests were confirmed along a 35-mile stretch from Venice to Longboat Key last year. According to Moat staff biologist Melissa Bernhard, once these nests are up, they will be there for a good portion of the summer.
A lot of the sand affects how long it's going to take to hatch, but usually average is about 55 to 60 days. So we've got nesting starting now, and hatching is going to start in about 2 months.
All in an effort to protect a species considered threatened or endangered.
All lights are supposed to be turned off or turtle friendly. The lighting can distract the turtles from the ocean and actually prevent them from getting back to where they need to be. The same goes with pulling your beach furniture off the beach, getting that out of their way so they don't get stuck by it.
It's a fun place to be, share the beach with everybody, leave your footprints and nothing else.
Now, Turtle Watch volunteers say you will also see shorebird nesting along the beaches as well. Just like sea turtles, areas are sectioned off for their protection. Reporting live in Sarasota, Dwayne Lindo, your Suncoast News.
All right, Dwayne, thank you. We have to share the shore.
We do.
Yep.
We've been doing well the last few years, so
Sure have.
keep it up.
Still to come in your Suncoast News, a major payment glitch involving a health insurance company.
The automatic billing issue that has wiped out some customers' bank accounts, that's straight ahead.
For your plumbing, electrical, or air conditioning, and services is qualified, and service calls are free. And services.com, ANDservices.com.
This is an important medical announcement. Bard IVC filters have been linked to punctured veins and problems with migration. Anyone who's received a Bard IVC filter must receive medical monitoring and may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you have the Bard Recovery G2 or G2 Express filter, you are in a class of patients who should be compensated for some expenses. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. This call is confidential, there's no cost, and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to people who should have been warned about the risks of the Bard IVC filters. Call the IVC Filter Hotline if your loved one has received an IVC filter and experienced a vein puncture or required medical monitoring. You must call now.
Call 800-329-3089. 800-329-3089.
Need more space in your place? The More Space Place can help with Murphy beds that disappear to reveal a home office, living room, or den. Custom closets with designated areas for your shoes, bags, wardrobe, and accessories. Custom-built entertainment centers, garage storage systems, and more. The More Space Place has 3 showrooms next to Sonny's on US 41 South in Sarasota, on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard just south of State Route 64 in Bradenton, and on Tamiami Trail next to Panera Bread in Port Charlotte. Put more space in your place at the More Space Place.
The official salon of ABC7. Cutting Loose Salon.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. We promise we're more than a dealership. We're a destination with a movie theater, massage room, aquarium, cafe, and more. We promise to give you top dollar for your trade, even if you don't buy from us. And if you do, we promise you the best deal. Bring us any competitor's ad and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
For your plumbing, electrical, or air conditioning, and services is qualified, and service calls are free. And services.com. ANDservices.com.
When you think about healthy food, you probably think of vegetables and fruits.
But some can be bad for you, even toxic if they aren't prepared properly. The CDC in India says a sweet fruit like lychee, if eaten unripe, can be toxic. If eaten too early, they can even turn fatal. And be careful of cassava, also known as yucca. It's a root vegetable that can be fried, boiled, or baked, but can be poisonous if not processed correctly. According to the FDA, toxins are higher in raw red kidney beans than other type of beans. Even potatoes can pose a risk, especially when they are green or they have sprouted.
A new version of Coke called Coca-Cola Plus is adding fiber to artificially sweetened soda. According to Coca-Cola, 1 Coke Plus a day, which is currently available only in Japan, can help, quote, suppress fat absorption and moderate the level of triglycerides in the blood. But some aren't buying this as a health drink. Dietitians say the smartest way to add more fiber to your diet is to up your intake of whole foods that are fiber-rich and are chock full of other important nutrients, unlike this, which really lacks any other nutrients. So eat your fruits and veggies. Now let's head over to Bob.
And dress appropriately when temperatures reach into the mid-90s. It has been a very, very hot weekend. All-time record breaker on Saturday when it got up to 96 degrees. It's the warmest it's ever been in the month of April. And then 95 on Sunday, just 1 degree cooler. A Casey Key webcam showing a beautiful day on the beach for the most part. Notice these clouds coming in, kind of thickening up a bit. That's associated with a weak frontal system. I know we haven't had a chance really to talk much about cold fronts lately, but this one is going to move through. It'll move through tomorrow, bringing with it a chance for some much needed rainfall. We are going to get some rain out of this. Not a lot, and it won't be a long duration, but we will see it move on through. Here's the front right now, as you see. It's stretching through Georgia. This is the same front that brought the severe weather and all the problems with flooding from Texas all the way up into Illinois. This frontal boundary will continue to move off to the southeast. With it, you can see increasing cloudiness. Had some rain, looked promising, looked really promising for about an hour and a half. Then all of a sudden, it just faded away as it ran into some very dry air here. The front still well back here, and this front will eventually sweep on through. Looks like tomorrow midday, or say around 11, 12 o'clock, and then behind it we'll start to see some clearing after 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Right now, the big storms out ahead of it is actually the big west to southwest wind, which has brought some very warm, moist air into the interior portion of the state, and that is pushing off to the east. Unfortunately, we're not getting any in Manatee, Sarasota, and much of Hardee and DeSoto counties. Not getting in the act of this, but Sebring, boy, they've had their fair share. They could see up to over 2 inches of rain before it's all said and done right there. Currently, we have some clouds mixed with some suns, 82 degrees, the dew point temperature at 68. Winds are out of the southwest at 16. The pressure 30.02. That's still relatively high. And the high today was 88 degrees. Finally got away from the 90s, but still well above the average, which is 83 degrees, 92 the record set in 2012. And we have no rainfall to report. Our deficit continues to climb. Some rain tomorrow. There'll be scattered showers and even a few thunderstorms tomorrow morning, especially after midnight, and then continuing on until around, as I said, 2, 3 o'clock. And then we'll see some clearing after 3 and temperatures into the mid-80s for the most part for highs tomorrow. So one day of cooler temperatures, relatively cooler temperatures, pretty close to average, and then we'll get back above it. Here's the RPM forecast model showing that 8 a.m. you can still depict a few showers around, and then that line moves through, as I said, in the afternoon. Well, elsewhere across the U.S., the cold air wrapping around this area of low pressure, 39 in Minneapolis, 54 in Chicago, but 81 in the nation's capital. And as far as that cold air is concerned, a little bit of that cooler air will filter down into Florida, but overall, we'll warm back up on Wednesday, but there's another shot of some colder air coming our way on into, it looks like, for the most part, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of this next weekend. So it's a contrast. This past weekend was extremely hot. The next one will be below average, it looks like. Winds out of the southwest, turning to the northwest tomorrow at 10 knots. Seas will be running 2 feet with a light chop on the bays and inland waters. The water temperature now at 83. And we're expecting some clouds and showers in the morning, some clearing in the afternoon. UV index will go down a little bit. A low tide, just 2 tides tomorrow, 119 and a high tide at 512. Sunset at 8:04. Mostly cloudy, scattered showers late, a low of 72, so still warm tonight. And then tomorrow, look for the clouds and showers in the morning, 86 for a high, and then clearing late in the day. And then we'll see some clouds and some sunshine mixed on into Wednesday. It will warm up again, though, upper 80s to near 90 degrees. And a good chance for rain overnight, Thursday night and Friday morning, and then tapers off a little bit as that front actually moves through and cools us down. Haley?
Thank you, Bob. Now to Suncoast Traffic Watch. Right now there's an accident in Sarasota. It's at Fruitville Road and Paramount Drive, so do be careful in that area.
President Trump says he's open to raising taxes on gasoline to pay for his infrastructure spending plan. President Trump telling Bloomberg News he would consider raising the federal gas tax if the money went towards highways. He also said that truckers supported the idea. The president releasing a one-page tax summary last week. While it made no mention of a gas tax, it did include slashing rates for corporations, reducing the number of tax brackets, and doubling the standard deduction for individuals.
Florida Blue customers may be experiencing some headaches today. The company says there's a payment processing issue with one of its vendors over the weekend. That issue resulted in some members' accounts being drafted multiple times for their invoice. Florida Blue says it is working to identify all overpayments and refund them. The company says it has also stopped taking electronic fund transfer payments for the time being and has delayed automatic payments scheduled for this month until the issue is corrected.
Your entertainment news is next. Stay with us.
Now's the perfect time to create a custom system with California Closets. During our Door and Drawer event, save up to $500 on beautiful doors and drawers for any room. Contact us today for your free design consultation. Visit our showroom or online at californiaclosets.com.
There are many choices when it comes to AC companies. Our advice? Choose a company that performs employee background checks and is licensed with top manufacturers like Daikin. Daikin offers a 12-year parts and labor limited warranty. For better comfort and value, call Elite Heating and Air.
What Florida city is best known for spaceflight?
Cape Carnival.
Cape Carnival? Close enough. What condiment includes vinegar, molasses, and anchovies?
Westchester sauce?
Close enough. And now, a word from our sponsors.
One-off from the Florida Lottery. Now available for pick 2, 3, 4, and 5 games. Miss by one on any or all numbers and still win.
I was always worried and scared. Mom was in pain. She wasn't going to get any better, and all the trips to the ER were painful for all of us. Then we called Tidewell Hospice, and everything changed. Now she has care in our home when she needs it, surrounded by family. We know we don't have much time left with Mom, but we decided to make the best out of that time. Tidewell Hospice, it's more than you think.
The Wild Broadway series at the Players Center brings you the classic farce, Boeing, Boeing. It's the 1960s, and our swingin' bachelor is juggling 3 beautiful stewardesses from 3 competing airlines. But what happens when Boeing produces a faster plane? Comedy ensues. Call the Players at 365-2494 or visit us online at theplayers.org. Opening April 26th, it's Boeing, Boeing.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Hi, I'm Chef Judy. Every Wednesday morning, I'll be with the chefs at the Publix Aprons Cooking School serving up the most wonderful dishes. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast.
Come into a California Closet showroom to experience our quality materials and construction and collaborate with our designers to create the perfect custom solution for any room. Go to californiaclosets.com to request a free design consultation and locate the showroom nearest to you.
A former evening star and radio star and producer and a lot of other things now joining morning TV.
Yep, former American Idol host Ryan Seacrest joining Kelly Ripa on the Chat Show Live with Kelly. The announcement was made today, a year after Michael Strahan left the show for Good Morning America. Ripa was so upset over how Strahan's departure was handled, she skipped the show for the first 2 days in protest. Since then, Ripa has worked with guest co-hosts like Jerry O'Connell, Fred Savage, and Andy Cohen.
Shannon Doherty says her breast cancer is in remission. In an Instagram post, the actress describes it as good news, but she cautiously notes that recurrences happen frequently and that the next 5 years will be critical. Doherty's cancer was first publicly revealed in a lawsuit filed against her former business managers in 2015. The actress claimed they allowed her health insurance to lapse.
Barbra Streisand says sexism cost her multiple Oscar nominations. Streisand's Yentl was nominated for 5 Academy Awards back in 1984. She received a Best Director nod, but the film missed out on a Best Picture nomination. Streisand says the snub was to blame in part for her hiatus from directing until 1991's The Prince of Tides. Over the weekend, Streisand told Variety that, quote, there were a lot of older people who didn't want to see a woman director.
The baby giraffe, whose birth was watched all around the world, finally has a name. Meet Tajiri. In Swahili, means hope or confidence. Staff members call him Taj for short. The giraffe population has declined by 40% in the last 30 years, making the species vulnerable to extinction. His mother, April, went viral last month when the zoo live streamed his birth to more than 1 million people. Finally, we waited so long for him to be born. He's here and cute.
We'll be right back with more news. Stay with us.